Hey guys, this is Tyron here. This is my first YouTube video, so bear with me. I've got a lot to learn. I don't know where this YouTube channel will go, but yeah, today I am at a free practice at NHMX or Jolly Rogers. And the Yamaha was holding a Ride Day Event there, so basically it's a demo ride where you get to ride the 2024 bikes. So yeah, right now I'm on my 23 250F. Unfortunately, they didn't have the 24 250F there. I'm not too sure why. There was a couple of reasons that were getting thrown out there that I heard of that day, but regardless, they didn't have it for whatever reason, which was kind of sad. That was the whole the main bike I wanted to ride. Like, if I had only one bike, like if I could only choose one bike to ride, it was going to be that one. And they didn't end up having it. They had a 23 250F in place of it, which I already had, so I was like, I'm not going to ride that. But they had the rest of the bikes. They had the 125, the 250 two-stroke, and the 450F. So I rode those three bikes, and they had the X models too. So if you were more into the off-road woods riding style of riding, you could ride those too. But yeah, here I'm just getting some warm-up laps on my bike, just so I don't waste my laps on those other bikes, because they only allowed you to pick 3 bikes and you could only do 3 laps on each bike. So you were very limited to how much time and experience you could get on each bike. So that was definitely a limiting factor. So yeah, here I'm just getting warmed up, checking out the track. And I unfortunately am wearing my older GoPro, which does have a broken mount, so it shakes a lot. So sorry for the choppiness of the video, or I guess the shakiness of the camera, because the mount is broken, so it's only being held on by half the mount. It's not very solid, but at least it stayed on my helmet for the day. My other GoPro didn't want to record for some reason, so alright, this is the 125. It was running very rich from what I could tell. The throttle response was really delayed, and you can hear it here. It just doesn't want to clear out. So here's a practice launch, a little mini practice launch. I actually rode this bike second, but I ended up putting the footage in order from smallest to biggest bike. I didn't even want to ride this bike, but I was just like, oh, what the heck, why not? I might as well see what it's like compared to mine. I have the 2017 YZ125 that has a lot of time on it. So I was just going to see what a stock one felt like. This is not a good comparison. One, because, well, the suspension isn't set up for me whatsoever. It's not far off. I run completely stock suspension on my 250F. So I just have the clickers dialed in. But this definitely felt stiff. Probably because, well, all the bikes are brand new. So it hasn't been worked in that much yet. So the suspension definitely felt a little bit wonky for me on all of the bikes. It wasn't just the 125. Out of all of the bikes, though, I will say I felt the most comfortable on the 125 in terms of suspension in ride comfort. Another thing was this. Well, I'm used to the 125. But compared to my 250F, it's a lot lighter. I will say there was a lot of people that at this Ride Day event that just, I don't want to call them noobs, but they were noobs. I will say they just, there was people going the wrong way on the track. There's people exiting in random spots. There's people just parking it in the middle of the track. There was one kid at one point at the top of that hill that I just went down that didn't want to go down because he was scared. So like the whole track was like blocked off for that. And then once he finally went down, he fell, and then he was stuck at the bottom of the hill for a while, and it was just like, that was a little bit annoying, but oh well, that's what you get on open practice. And then I wanted to hit the Intimidator, but, well, one, this bike wasn't running 100% perfect, and I hate when there's other people around me especially on days like this, going to hit the Intimidator. It's not a difficult jump, it's just, it can get sketchy, especially where you can't see the downside very well. Also, the track was, well, the dirt was in decent shape. It was just a little bit choppy, which wasn't that big of a deal. But there were a couple spots where it just got a little greasy. especially right here. You can see a little bit of water in the track. And here we go. Nice and easy. But yeah, overall, this 125 was pretty nice to ride. Alright, this is the 250 two-stroke now. This was my favorite bike to ride out of all three of them. This is the second 250 two-stroke I've actually ever ridden. Here again, we do a little bit of a launch. This one was jetted pretty good for the most part. I actually think this might have been a little bit lean, just a tad bit lean, but for the most part it was pretty good. The bottom end was really nice, especially where it's brand new. The suspension was a little bit stiffer on this bike, or maybe it was softer. I don't remember 100%, but it was not as nice as the 125.
Boots getting stuck on the frame.
Yeah, my boots are definitely a little bit aged. They have almost a full season on them, so they're getting old. They're worn out. That wasn't anything on the bike. That was all on my worn out boots. But yeah. Just adjusted, and that wasn't an issue after that. Well, actually that was happening on my bike too as well, so. And I overshot that jump every single time on this bike. And this one too. I will say, I thought every time I went to go overshoot those jumps, or I overshooted those jumps, I was a little hesitant, because the suspension was so stiff, but it actually held up really well. It soaked up that impact really nicely, so no complaints there. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, this guy parked it in the middle of the track and just absolutely roosted the heck out of me, which is a little annoying, so bear with me. I don't end up cleaning off the GoPro because I completely forget it's there. But yeah. And then this guy roosted me a little bit more. In the next couple of corners. So I only left in one more lap of this, just enough so you can see me absolutely send the Intimidator to the bottom. One thing that threw me off was how light this bike was. It felt just as light as the 125, and it just had heaps more bottom end, well, and top end. It had power, just heaps more power overall. But yeah, it was nice. I don't know why I expected it to feel a little bit heavier, but with the amount of power it had, it wants to fly. yeah, you can see how hard that impact was. But the suspension, that KYB suspension is really great at just eating up everything. It's really amazing. Alright. And last but not least, the 450. That thing was heavy taking it off the stand. I've never ridden a 450, so this would be my first 450. And there was 2 different maps. It was on the aggressive map when I took it off the stand, and once I took it off the stand, I completely forgot about the maps. So I was in aggressive the whole time. I did do a practice lunch with this bike, mainly because, well, I didn't feel it was necessary, and I went to go take a sip of water because, well, you had to wait in line for a while to get on the bikes, and when I got off the last bike, I jumped right into the next line, and I was sitting there for like an hour with no water, so I took a sip of water, and the Yamaha guys were watching me closely after that because I took the bike over to my truck. So sorry, Yamaha, but I just wanted a sip of water. I was thirsty. And I was definitely the least comfortable on this bike, mainly because it was so heavy. It was still nice to ride, and it still rode. The suspension was definitely a lot stiffer on this bike than the rest, and I think it's because it's just so much bigger of a bike. It's a little bit heavier. And, well, I'm only 160 pounds, so I'm not exactly the largest rider. And then also, I could really feel the engine, like the rotational mass in the air and just the weight of the bike overall. I could really feel it compared to the rest of the bikes. It didn't have any lack of power, it just could feel the weight, that's all. But yeah, overall, the 250 was my favorite bike to ride. I wish I could have got to ride the 254 stroke, but that's not a huge deal. I got to ride the newer 450 and get a feel for the chassis. But yeah, they were giving out these custom lunch boxes. There was an anniversary edition and a Bluetooth edition, or I guess they were both Bluetooth lunch boxes. But yeah, they gave those out, and I was so excited to ride the bikes. I actually left mine on the table where I signed my life away to, if I broke one of these bikes or I dropped it or whatever, I was responsible for fixing it. But anyways, yeah, a little sad about that, but not that big of a deal. There was just a lunchbox, lanyard, and like a cup or something, a mug maybe. I don't remember exactly, but yep, left that behind. But other than that, it was pretty much a pretty good day overall. I'm impressed with the new bikes, at least the 450. I know the 125 and the 250 haven't really changed much in the last 20 odd years. So those haven't been much different, but I had never ridden 250, a YZ250 two-stroke before, so that was definitely a new experience. Plus, this is my first 450 ride ever. So yeah.
Holy shit, this thing is fast.
Yeah, that's probably because I had it in the aggressive mode, but I don't know if it would have made much of a difference. I think I was in second gear the whole time on that bike. I don't think I got out of second, and I mean, well, you could clear everything with no issues. Well, almost to the end of the video. I don't really know how to outro this, but I'll learn as I continue to create more content. So if you watched to the end, thanks for watching. If you liked it, let me know. And if you have any suggestions, down below.